Next, we're going to hear from Paz Cohen, who is the CEO of Uru, Agenda, and Hasdera, and chairman of Jerusalem's Parental Association. Paz recently led a novel merger process in the Israeli social sector between three organizations, Agenda, Hasdera, and Uru, and he is now the CEO of that combined entity. The unique and innovative entity that resulted from this union promotes public participation and amplifies social causes through cutting-edge media and digital tools. In a fairly short period of time, the new entity has already mobilized over 200,000 people in hundreds of campaigns. Paz's entrepreneurial experience includes the founding of Brain World, an IT company which offers innovative solutions for real-time mapping and demographic trends, and Sumpany, a social entrepreneurial incubator which facilitated the development of several social startups. This morning, Paz will talk with us about CrowdDoing, how technology can involve groups of people to affect change. Paz?
Crowdsourcing and crowdfunding are not the only ways to harness the power of the crowd. There can be an even more effective way to harness the power of the crowd. This is what we have defined as CrowdDoing. While my new friends here on the stage have tried to convince you that you can use the knowledge of the crowd or its money, I want to convince you that there is another effective way to harness the power of the crowd. Ask them to participate, to do a small act, but together. That is what we call CrowdDoing. 3 months ago, a young guy called me. He told me that he lives in the trendy neighborhood Florentine in Tel Aviv, and in front of his house there is a park. He sounded hysterical because the municipality was going to uproot the 34 trees in the park. Who cares? I asked him. Well, some hundreds of people who live around here cares, he said, but the people here are very, very busy. They don't know what to do, and we feel really helpless. I immediately realized that this was a perfect cause to promote with our CrowdDoing method. We developed a tool that enabled these neighbors, these people, to send an objection to the Israeli Chief Forest Officer. And actually, after a few hours, more than 100 people sent an objection to this chief officer. And after one day, the Israeli Chief Forest Officer sent an injunction, and all the trees were saved. I happened to pass by the park recently and smiled. All the trees are in a good shape. This tool is now available to anyone who feels that there is a governmental decision that is unjust or unfair. Instead of feeling paralyzed, anyone can take a proactive role in his or her community. This is a local example of CrowdDoing. So what is a crowd? Are you a crowd? Or are you a crowd? You a crowd? A crowd may be defined as a set or group of persons with something in common. So you are definitely a crowd as you are here in Jerusalem, in Israel, for the same cause, to support Israel and the Jewish communities around the world. In civil society, we attribute the term crowd to social actions, such as the revolution in Egypt, Occupy Wall Street, social justice protests in Israel. CrowdDoing is inviting the crowd to contribute, not with their money or knowledge, but rather with small yet meaningful act in a specific direction in order to facilitate a change. It can be sending thousands of emails to decision makers, coming with tents to the streets, or writing posts on politician Facebook pages. The IT revolution creates new opportunities for CrowdDoing. Ordinary citizens can approach today much easily to decision makers and to the centers of powers. This opportunity has led us to the establishment of Agenda, Hasdera, and Uru, three entities that recently merged in order to facilitate CrowdDoing in Israel. We are part of an international network of CrowdDoing organizations, such as Move On, Avaz, or Change.org. The impact of these organizations is generated mainly by the ability to create the crowd effect. That's why we strive to develop new tools that can create this kind of effect. For example, in the last year, there were 4 development plans to build on Israel's beachfront. We developed a tool that enabled the public to send emails directly to the regional planning and construction committee. After 2 weeks, more than 400 emails were sent by 14,000 people. Again, 14,000 people sent 400,000 personalized emails to the committee members. And the results were staggering. The building plans were suspended. These thousands of emails creates what I just told you, the crowd effect, and actually bring this beach to be still open places for everyone. I want to show you another example. In Israel, we have a television mandatory fee. Every citizen who holds a TV has to pay 400 new Israeli shekels every year. And if you don't pay these taxes, and many times there are mistakes and they think that you didn't pay the tax, there is a very brutal method that the Israeli Broadcasting Authority collects this money. So in the beginning of this year, we started a campaign forcing the government to stop its brutal method of collecting this fee. We opened the Facebook page on 16th of January, and we find out that there is a direct correlation between the number of likes that we got to our status and also to the attitude of the public in this issue. When we reached 15,000 likes, the chairman of the Israeli Broadcasting Authority, Amir Gilad, agreed to meet us. 2 weeks later, with 20,000 likes, parliamentarians at the Knesset offered new laws how to deal with this issue. After 6 months, with 30,000 likes, the Knesset began to discuss the issue and even thought how to cancel all this fee at all. At the same time, we were invited by the Israeli Broadcasting Authority Advisory Board as representatives of the public at large. Today, with more than 75,000, it's not a mistake, it's just raised in the last week, 75,000 likes, which is equivalent to 3 million in the US, there are hundreds of discussions involving opinion leaders, public leaders, and formulators. So how can the crowd influence the government? Every democratic country, city, states hold elections every 4 to 5 years, in which every citizen has the right to vote. In some cases, when the crowd finds an issue very important, it may go to the streets. And in radical cases, the crowd may even overthrow the government, and it can happen before the next elections. Media brings issues that the public finds is important and create the crowd effect. It forces the decision makers to deal with these issues frequently. The IT revolution actually provides us tools to make the crowd effect more often. When a politician receives hundreds of emails on the same issue, he cannot ignore it. If a Facebook page gets myriad of likes, it is difficult to turn a blind eye. The next stage of civic involvement is emerging these days, when the public has the opportunity to participate in policy making. Israel is one of the leaders in this public participation process. For example, in Tel Aviv municipality, there is a public participation department, what we call Shituf Tzibur in Hebrew, that works all day to involve the citizens in city plans. The Israeli government is facilitating the roundtable system that brings more voices to the table to be heard. It is important, but not enough. Technology must take an integral part in the process. That's why we have developed our public participation tool. With our public participation tool, every citizen can participate in decision-making from anywhere, at any time. As we all know, the world is a changing place. Politicians and policymakers are starting to understand that policymaking is not just up to them or to the experts. It is also up to the public. The public voice should be heard at the earliest stages of policymaking. Once the public, the general public, will understand the potential of crowd doing, democracy will change forever.